Our today's topic is labeling of drugs and medicines. That means today we will concentrate on part 9 of the Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945. You know that the labeling of any drug, if it is not made as prescribed under the rules, that drug is declared as misbranded drugs. So this topic is extremely important to all of you, not only as a student, but it is very important whenever you will be entering as a professional in the professional field, either to serve any industry or drugs control or any other organization. And you know that the labeling, examination of a label before purchasing a drug is also equally important to any enlightened citizens. So as a pharmacist, it is very important topic to you, the labeling provisions of Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Now, if we look at the part 9 of Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945, in Rule 95, it is provided that no person shall sell or distribute any drug, including a patent or proprietary medicine, unless it is labeled in accordance with the rules. So, the selling of a drug, if it is not labeled in the prescribed manner, is an offence under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and rules made thereunder. And Rule 96, it provides the manner of labeling, how a drug is to be labeled. That has been provided under Rule 96. And as per Rule 96, the following particulars shall be either printed or written in indelible ink or shall appear in a conspicuous manner on the label of the inner container of any drug and on every other covering in which the container is packed. Namely, I am telling you the broad headings which must be present on the label of any drug. It is the general provisions, the manner of labeling. First, the name of the drug. And here I mean to say that the name of the drug means the proper name of the drug. The proper name of the drug, that is the molecular name, that is the generic name, and that name shall be printed or written in a more conspicuous manner than the trade name, if any. If the drug has any trade name, then as per rule, the proper name shall be printed in a more conspicuous manner than the trade name. Second, the net content. The net content in terms of weight or measure or volume or number of units, whatever maybe, it should be expressed in metric system and it shall be printed on the label of each and every drug. Third, the content of active ingredients, and it is expressed in different way for different dosage forms. For oral liquids, contents per single dose is mentioned on the label. You have already seen in different drugs, on the label of different drugs, that if the dose is 5 ml, then it is mentioned that 5 ml contains the active ingredients, or in case of in multiple thereof, 10 ml or 15 ml like this. And if dose is below 5 ml, then it is expressed, the content expressed in per ml amount. For liquid parenterals, if it is parenteral preparation, then contents per ml or contents in percentage or contents per dose is mentioned in the label. For solid parenterals, contents per milligram or per gram or in terms of units shall be written or shall be printed on the label. For tablets, capsules, peels, here the contents per tablet, per capsule or per peel is written or printed. And for other preparations, contents in terms of percentage by weight or weight by volume or units per gram or per ml is expressed. These provisions are not applicable for pharmacopoeial preparations or any preparation which is included in National Formulary of India. In that case, these active content of active ingredients are not mandatorily to be mentioned on the label, as it is mentioned in the respective pharmacopoeia or in the NFI. So now the fourth requirement is the name and address of the manufacturer. In each and every level of a drug, the name and address of its manufacturer must be mentioned. Manufacturing license number is to be mentioned on the label, and the number preceded by MFG, LIC, NO or ML. Then the number of the license will be printed. Distinctive batch number is mandatorily printed on the label of each and every drug, and here the batch number is preceded by the words batch NO, batch number, or BNO, or lot number, or lot. The date of manufacture and the date of expiry is also mandatorily to be mentioned on each and every level. Here the date of manufacturing is mentioned month and year manner, and expiry date is also mentioned in the month by year. Here for expiry date, it is recommended that till the last date of the month that drug is valid, or its life will remain till the last date of the month. The drugs which are distributed as free samples to medical professionals, on the label of such drug itself mention the words physician sample not to be sold. If any alcoholic preparations, if drugs contain more than 3% by volume of alcohol, the quantity of alcohol shall be stated in terms of the average by volume of absolute alcohol. So you have to calculate it, the percentage of absolute alcohol, and on the basis of the percentage of absolute alcohol, its volume is to be mentioned on the label. In addition, the label of the drugs of schedule G, H, H1 and X. Keep in your mind that the drugs which are falling under schedule G, schedule H, H1 and X, in that case, it further there will be a red vertical line on the left side of the label running throughout the body of the label, and that red vertical line should not be less than 1 millimeter in width. So it is a very important provision that the drugs which are falling under schedule G, H, H1 and X, there a red vertical line will be there on the label, which will be on the left side, and it will run throughout the body of the label, and it should not be less than 1 millimeter in width, except where it will not be there, except the preparations for animal treatment. That means for veterinary medicine, there will be, it is not mandatory to put a red vertical line. Preparations for external preparation, ophthalmic preparation and ear drops, and sterile preparations and parenteral preparations. In that cases, the red vertical line will not be there. If the drug is an imported drug, then the label shall bear the name and address of the importer and the import license number, and the license number preceded by the words import license. So in case of imported drugs, there will be name and address of the importer, and the import license number must be printed on the label. These are the important points to be mentioned on each and every level. Other informations like storage condition, maximum retail price, common name of the color, if any color present, it also to be mentioned. And as per rule 104, use of the letters IP or abbreviation of other pharmacopoeias and official compendia shall be entered on the label, both in the name of the drug as well as in the name of the active and other constituents of the drug. It actually expresses the standard of the drug. Say for example, if it is a paracetamol tablet, then in place of the proper name you have to write paracetamol tablet IP if it is a pharmacopoeial preparation, and when you are writing the content of the active ingredients, there also you have to write each tablet contains paracetamol 500, paracetamol IP 500 mg to express its standard. Second, labeling of medicines. Labeling of medicines is provided under Rule 97. Rule 97.1 prescribes that the container of a medicine for internal use shall, if it contains a substance specified in Schedule G, so in case of all Schedule G drugs, the label of the medicine should bear the words caution, it is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision. These words conspicuously printed and surrounded by a line within which there shall be no other words. So these words are very important. Caution, it is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision. Wherever you will find these words, surely that's drug. It means on the label, if you find these words, caution, it is dangerous to take this preparation except under medical supervision, means the drug is a Schedule G drug. B, if it contains a substance specified in Schedule H, then the drug shall be labeled with the symbol RX and it conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label. And moreover, it also be labeled with the following words: Schedule H drug, warning, to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. Again, I am telling, it's a prescription drug, Schedule H drugs are prescription drugs, and for prescription drugs, if it is falling under Schedule H, then there will be RX on the left top corner, and also there will be the following words: Schedule H drug, warning, to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. Now, if the drug contains a substance specified in Schedule H and also it is coming under the purview of the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985, then it shall be labeled with the symbols NRX, which shall be in red and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label. In case of Schedule H drug, only Schedule H drug, there will be RX. But in case of Schedule H drug and which is coming within the purview of the NDPS Act, that is the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, then it shall be labeled with the symbol NRX. It shall be in red and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label. So whenever there is NRX in red color on the left top corner of the label, only conclusion you will draw that it is a prescription drug falling in Schedule H, as well as this drug is coming within the purview of the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. Moreover this, the label should also contain the following words as far as other Schedule H drugs, that is Schedule H drug, warning, to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. Next, if the drug contains a substance specified in Schedule X, then it will be labeled with the symbol XRX in red color and it will be conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label and be also labeled with the following words, that is Schedule X drug. Here it is, Schedule X drug, warning, to be sold by retail on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner only. If our medicine contains a drug substance specified in Schedule H1, the drug formulation shall be labeled with the symbol Rx in red color. If it is in Schedule H, there will be Rx but not in red color, only Rx, and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner. But if it is falling in Schedule H1, then there will be Rx which is in red color and conspicuously displayed on the left top corner of the label, and shall also be labeled with the following words in a box with red border. So box will be with a red border, and within the box there will be the following words: Schedule H1 drug, warning, it is dangerous to take this preparation except in accordance with the medical advice, not to be sold by retail without the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. This is all about Rule 97.1. Now Rule 97.2. The container of an embrocation, liniment, lotion, ointment, antiseptic cream, liquid antiseptic or other liquid medicine for external application shall be labeled with the words in capital for external use only. So all external application or external preparations, they shall be labeled with the words for external use only, and each letter of this for external use only will be in capital letter. Okay. Rule 97.3 provides the container of a medicine made up ready only for treatment of an animal shall be labeled conspicuously with the words not for human use, for animal treatment only. So all veterinary drug, all veterinary medicine, there shall be labeled conspicuously with the words not for human use, for animal treatment only. It must be there. Moreover, the label of veterinary medicine shall bear a symbol depicting the head of a domestic animal. Head of any domestic animal, cow, dog, cat, whatever may be, the head of a domestic animal must be there on the label of the veterinary medicine. The container of a medicine for treatment of food producing animals. If the medicine is meant for any food producing animals, it shall be labeled with the withdrawal period of the drug for the species on which it is intended to be used. So withdrawal period must be mentioned on the label. Now what is withdrawal period? Withdrawal period is the period of interval between the last administration of the drug or medicine and the production of foodstuff. So the difference of days from the last administration of the drug and the production of foodstuff is called the withdrawal period, and that withdrawal period must be mentioned on the label of each drug such that any person can calculate that after administering the medicine, after how many days the food which is produced by this animal is suitable for taking. Now, if the specific withdrawal period has not been validated, then the withdrawal period shall not be less than 7 days for eggs. So for egg producing animals, the withdrawal period will be 7 days for eggs, and for milk also it is 7 days if it is not otherwise validated, and 21 days for meat from poultry and mammals, and for fish it is 500 degree days for fish meat. Now what is 500 degree days? 500 degree days means it is 500 divided by the average degree in Celsius temperature where the fish is remaining. So if it is say 20 degree, so 500 by 20 means 25 days will be the withdrawal period for fish, or whatever may be the calculation, that is 500 degree days. So this withdrawal period must be mentioned on the level of medicines which are meant for food producing animals. Rule 97.4 prescribes that if the medicine is for human treatment contains only industrial methylated spirit, it shall be labeled with the words for external use only, like any external application. Rule 102, it is for non-sterile surgical ligature and suture. The containers shall be labeled in conspicuous manner in red ink with the following words: non-sterile surgical ligature suture not to be used for operations upon the human body unless efficiently sterilized. So without sterilization it shall not be used on human body. That words must be printed in red ink on the level of the non-sterile surgical ligature or suture. In condoms, the level of condoms, it should be mentioned for single use only. Rule 103 additionally prescribes that in the level of any patent and proprietary medicine, the list of ingredients shall be printed, and as per Schedule FF, in ophthalmic solution and suspension, it shall be labeled additionally with the following words: use the solution within 1 month after opening the container. Whenever you will find any eye drop or any eye solution or suspension, you will see that there is mentioned use the solution within 1 month after opening the container. Name and concentration of the preservative must be mentioned there if it is used. That means preservative is used, the name and concentration of the preservative must be there. The words not for injection must be printed on the level of any ophthalmic solution and suspension, and special instruction regarding storage whenever applicable should be there. Moreover, a cautionary legend reading as warning: if irritation persists or increases, discontinue the use and consult physician. This warning must be printed on the level of ophthalmic solution or suspensions. Moreover, another warning: do not touch the dropper tip or other dispensing tip to any surface, since this may contaminate solutions. Must be there on the level of ophthalmic solutions. In case of ophthalmic ointments, special storage instruction wherever applicable will be there, and a caution with the following words: warning, if irritation persists or increases, discontinue the use and consult physician, must be printed over the level of the ophthalmic ointment. Thank you.